Hey everyone, we are back for another episode of Life Possible with a Disability. If you like the episode, whatever platform you're listening to us, please go in and share. If it's Amazon, please go in and give a rating. And then if you want to watch it on YouTube, the channel is Karen Roy rather than Life Possible with a Disability. So check it out and leave us some positive reviews. This is my friend Katherine. She lives in New Orleans, which is just an hour away. She's got her ATP is Butley with Numotion, and Butley has been telling me about Katherine for years, and apparently vice versa. So we're post-COVID-ish now.
Sort of.
So hopefully we'll get to meet each other in person soon. But I follow her on social media, so Katherine Klimitas, she is on Instagram and maybe Facebook. Tell us again if people want to follow you, what your channels are.
Sure. All of my handles are the same. It's KAK Art NOLA, as in New Orleans, Louisiana. So it's Facebook, KAK Art NOLA, yep. Instagram, KAK Art NOLA. And then my website is kakartnola.com.
Yes. Yeah. And you get to see, I love following her. She's been able to start doing some shows live. So she gets to just sell her art. And then she also does jewelry. And it's just, her art I've been amazed by it for a long time because Butley, her ATP, you did portraits of his dogs a long time ago.
Yeah, Butley has actually
he's always very proud of those. So, Katherine, why don't you tell us a little bit about you were born with your disability. Tell us a little bit about that and sort of how it impacted you.
Sure. I was actually born with a genetic bone disease called Osteogenesis Imperfecta, which is basically two fancy words that means that my bones break easily and they grow abnormally. So I am only 2'7" in height, and I use an electric wheelchair, as you mentioned, for mobility. I have, if anybody out there is familiar with wheelchairs, I have a Firmobile, and I love it as much as you can love a wheelchair. So, yeah, growing up was a little different for me because I constantly had broken bones, and I constantly had, I couldn't do all the things all of my friends did. My parents made sure I was still in a mainstream school. So most of the time, I was the only person in my school with a disability, or, well, at least with a disability in a wheelchair. Yeah. Let's put it that way. And, so it was a little weird, but my parents made sure that I was always included as much as I could be. And then when I couldn't be, I always got to do something else, so there was always, like, if there was a field trip I couldn't go on, we did something else. We went on a different type of field trip or something. Right. So, it worked. Mm-hmm. And I guess I'll go into how I got into art, because that kind of goes along with that. When I was young, I was really smart and really bored. And so my mom was constantly trying to find things that I could do. And, I couldn't move around a lot. So that limited a lot of the things she could find for me to do. And when I was 5, she actually gave me my first watercolor set, which was just one of those cheap cake, watercolor sets that you get for 5-year-olds, right? And I went through it really quickly. Right. I used all the computer paper in the house, and I loved it. And it just kind of stuck. And so my parents saw that not only did I love art, but that I was actually kind of good at it, even at 5 years old. Not great. Obviously, I was 5 years old, but, I took a liking to it. And so they got me into all kinds of classes and summer camps, and I got to learn all types of media, like acrylic and sculpture and printmaking, and I even got to do a little bit of glass blowing one summer, which was super fun. Dangerous, but super fun.
I've always wanted to do that.
Oh, it's fun. But anyway, I mean, not my medium at all, but still really fun to do during a summer. Um, and I ended up kind of specializing in watercolor, um, mainly because it's a medium that is, I can do it in a small space. It dries quickly. Um, it's convenient, and for some reason, I just connect with it. I mean, that's the bottom line, is I just connect with it
Yeah.
well. So yeah, I started painting at a really young age and have kind of made it into a career.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because I guess it's so hard. There's so many people that are really talented and would love to make art their full-time gig. Um, so your college experience, your parents are both vets. Your father passed away. I can't remember how long ago it's been now.
About 9 years.
Like, yeah. But they were both veterinarians. So, I mean, I think that influenced your subjects. Like, tell people how kind of that got started, and then what you did in your, what you studied in school.
Yeah. So I grew up in a veterinary office. Every Saturday when I wasn't in school, I was hanging out with my parents and their staff at the clinic. And so I grew up around dogs and cats and birds and all kinds of animals. I mean, just personally, we always had all kinds of animals. I mean, we had dogs and cats at home, but at the clinic, we had birds and fish and lizards and tarantulas. And I mean, we kind of had it all at one time or another. And as I would bring things to do while I was at work because I get bored, and I would bring my paints like that. That would be one of the things I would bring, and their clients would see me painting. And while I was sitting there, they'd say, "Oh," or while they were sitting there waiting for my parents, they'd say, "Oh, can you paint my dog, or can you paint my cat, or whatever?" And I would, and then they would pay me. And so, as a young
Yes.
teenager, that's like really cool to get money for something that you're just sitting there anyway doing. So, that
Yeah.
was really exciting. The flip side of that was that when I started doing commissions and I started actually making some money as an artist, my mom said, "Okay, well, I'm not buying you any more toys. Like, and I'm not buying you extra clothes, and I'm not buying you all the extra stuff. Christmas, birthday, fine, and the things you need for school, fine, but everything else, you're on your own." So, I guess in that way too, it also helped me to learn to manage money at a really early age, which is not something I think a lot of kids get these days. And that I think
Mm-hmm.
we can see in society today where that is clearly a problem. Um, so, I mean,
Yes.
I'm lucky, that worked
Yeah.
out for me.
Yeah. You have amazing parents. Yeah. They
I do.
were, I mean, and I love how, um, there's a lot of kids that grow up able-bodied, and there's no expectations for them to contribute at all. And teaching responsibility, the value of a dollar, how to manage money. You also
Exactly.
mentioned, because now you basically you're a business owner,
Hmm.
and you were there at their business, their veterinary clinic, which was their business, and you kind of learned how to manage people and a lot of things being hanging out
Yeah.
there.
I mean, I watch them manage staff, because that's a big thing. Like, especially for someone like me, I have to have staff. I have to have an aide all the time. And so, I learned how to deal with that really early on. And, and I mean, things like paying sales tax. I mean, that's not something you learn in school unless you go to business
No, they
school.
should.
They should.
Yeah,
I
ridiculous.
agree. And how to, why my parents lose their minds in April. I mean, like
Right.
things like that. I learned
Right.
all those things really early on. And I mean, now I fully understand why they lose their minds in April. Um, you
Yep.
know, but yeah, I mean, it
Yep.
was a really good experience.
So you have, in addition, graphic design was your college degree.
Yes.
So you do a little bit of both. You make money
Yes.
by selling your art and jewelry, and then you also do graphic design. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So when I started, well, first of all, for me, in my family, college was just an understood thing. Like, you were going to college. There was no question. You were going, and you should want to go. It's just a question of where. So I ended up going to Loyola University, New Orleans. And when I started there, I thought that I would want to do art, like fine art, painting, drawing, whatever. But then I realized that there's a reason they call them starving artists, and how much physically I would have to put out in order to make enough money to pay my own bills, um, in order
Right.
to survive as an artist. And physically, it wasn't going to happen. I mean, there was just no way, especially right out of college. There's no way. So I said, okay, well, so my sophomore year, I switched my major from fine art to graphic design. And I said, well, this is still art. I mean, it's still a type of, art, but it will allow me to take on clients, for branding and, logos and websites and any kind of promotional material. And then also people who want, like, I'm working on a save the date for a wedding right now. I mean, that kind of thing. Other personal design items. And, that I can charge for that. Like, it's a little easier. Plus, most of it is done on the computer, which when I have broken bones and I can't move a lot, that's a really good option for me. So it works. I mean, art, painting is still my passion. I mean, it's what I would mostly rather be doing. However, design is fun because it's a lot of problem solving. And so it uses your brain in a different way because like if somebody asked me to do an 11 by 17 poster, like it has to fit in 11 by 17. Like I have to find a way to make all the text and pictures and whatever it is fit in 11 by 17. And so it's kind of like a puzzle, so in that way, it's kind of nice to be able to do both, if that makes sense.
You did something with Michael's, like the big
I
craft
did.
store,
And I
right?
just got all my stuff approved. It's all going to be posted next week. I just got that go ahead today. So Michael's is doing a campaign for let me make sure I get this right. I think it's International Persons with Disabilities Day. I'm pretty sure that's the right wording.
Yeah.
It's really close to that.
Right. There's a lot of those
days. Yeah.
Okay.
And they basically wanted to find an artist who has a following on Instagram to do a project with some of their products and post about it, essentially. So I got to do that, and that will be posting next week. So that's exciting.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. And you did something with Adobe too.
I did. That was really exciting. Adobe puts on a conference every year called Adobe Max. And for the last 2 years, it's been virtual. And so what they do basically is they have keynote speakers and they have workshops, but in between they feature artists from all around the world. And so basically before the launch of the conference, it's a 3-day conference. They pick artists, and for me at least, they came into my house at 10:45 in the morning and they didn't leave till 9:30 at night, and we filmed all day. And it's basically a day in the life. Wait, I can't hear you.
Is that something that we can still go back and find?
Yes.
That's
so
recorded?
I posted parts of it on my social media. There's a link on my YouTube. There's a link on my website. And yeah, it's all over my social media. So I'm sure you can find it.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But it
awesome.
was crazy for 9 minutes.
So
It was 9.5 hours. So it was
right,
insane.
right. Yeah. It's exhausting. It makes you kind of, realize like people that do that for a living, like it may look all glamorous and easy, but it's really a lot of hard work that goes into these short, highly produced clips of content.
Yeah.
So, one of the things recently, like you were also in the New Orleans paper. What is their paper called?
Yes. And I found out Monday that it also ran in Baton Rouge and in Acadiana. So that was exciting.
Oh,
I did not realize that was going to happen. Neither did the lady who wrote it. So we were all surprised on Monday.
That's awesome.
But yeah, basically, I was given a spotlight on the front page of the living section in the Advocate. All the Advocates, it turns out.
Yeah.
And yeah, they did. The lady who wrote it, Suzanne, she did a great job. The photos were great. I mean, it turned out to be a really great article.
And you're so booked up right now. Like, I mean, obviously it's the holidays. A lot of people commissioned you to do paintings of their pets, and like you're booked out like until, I don't know, it was February, March, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's still about then. I mean, I feel comfortable saying Valentine's Day right now, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. It's been, I mean, I guess because of the Adobe thing and then this Advocate article, those have both been really great. And yeah, it's just been, I mean, I've never had so many requests for Christmas, like to the point where I'm having to say, look, it's not going to happen for Christmas.
It's not going to be done by Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you a gift certificate to give your loved one or whoever, your family member, and then I'll have it done as soon as I can. And that's what a lot of people have done, because they still want to give it and I still want to do it for them. Yeah. I just can't do it by December 25th.
Right. And then you deal with, like you said, you might break a bone at any given day, basically doing nothing.
Right.
So
and
I'm
actually having some problems with my wrist right now. So I'm having to kind of
sorry.
It's fine. But I'm having to kind of scale back a little bit. Like I took a break all weekend because, it was starting to really hurt on Thursday or Friday. So I was like, okay, no painting for a few days.
Yeah.
But, my mom actually made me a brace for it last night. So hopefully that's going to help and I can just get the rest done that I need to get done before Christmas. So,
so when you were talking about, breaking a bone and you've hurt your wrist and you're having to kind of take some breaks, and then your mom made you a splint and you're going to try to work through it. I was recently diagnosed with bladder cancer, which is part of my disability. I have to do an intermittent catheterization. We're at higher risk due to that for bladder cancer. So started treatment, and do my best really just to kind of keep working whenever I can, make it up on a Saturday if I'm like out for an appointment. But people are like, I think that this is a superpower of people with disabilities, is that because we're sort of used to these health inconveniences, we kind of just roll with it and make it work, like you are. And I think, I don't know if you want to speak about that.
Yeah, I mean, what people don't always understand is this is my normal. Like I've never known anything different. So people say, "Oh, well, are you in pain all the time?" And I mean, yeah, that's to some extent. But that doesn't mean I mean, I can deal with that. Because I have dealt with it for 32 years. I mean, it's just the way my life is. I mean, that's like, I'm sure you have issues that you deal with that most people don't, but you've been doing it for so long that it's not even that big
I've been doing it for
34
years. I wasn't,
Yeah.
Yeah. People are there, like, they think it's amazing and all this. And you're like, I mean, it's, I get that to a degree. I mean, but it's, we just want to work and we want to, you're a creative, passionate person and you're creating art. You would, you kind of, the things that you love, you figure out how to do them.
Well, I always say, and there was a woman with OI who did a TED talk on this, which I thought was, unfortunately, she passed away a couple years ago, but
I think I know who you're talking about.
Stella, I can't remember her last name, but
yeah.
She talked about inspiration and what is inspirational. And, her point was getting out of bed in the morning is not inspirational, but
right.
and when I apply that to me, I think, okay, if somebody's inspired by my art or if somebody's inspired by something I do, that's great. I mean, I'm happy that happened.
Well, Katherine, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm going to leave show notes and put your Instagram handle, your Facebook, and then your website as well, so people can get in touch with you if they want to see your art, if they want to commission some artwork of their animals. So I can't wait to see you in person and have a beautiful end of the year, and we will touch base again soon.